Let me ask you something. When you hear the word creativity, what do you picture? A painter? A musician? Someone writing poetry in a candlelit room at 2 a.m.? Most people think creativity is this mysterious gift you're either born with, or you're not. But that's a myth. Because creativity, real creative intelligence, isn't just for artists. It's not just about drawing or designing or playing guitar. It's about how you think. How you solve problems. How you connect ideas that seem unrelated. How you turn, "I have no clue what to do," into, "Wait, what if I try it this way?" And the good news. Creative intelligence is a skill. Which means you can build it, just like you build focus, strength, or confidence. So today, we're breaking down how to grow your creative brain, every single day, even if you don't consider yourself creative at all. Let's get into it. Let's start with what creative intelligence actually is. It's not about being quirky or having wild ideas just for the sake of it. Creative intelligence is the ability to approach situations in original, flexible, and effective ways. It's what helps engineers invent new solutions. It's what helps teachers reach students with different learning styles. It's what helps you figure out how to make a project work when half your resources fall through. It's not just artsy thinking, it's adaptive thinking. It's your brain's way of saying, "Okay, plan A didn't work. Let's come up with plan B, C, or Z," and it shows up everywhere. In science, business, education, medicine, and everyday life. So no, you don't need a sketchbook to be creative. You need the right habits. The right tools. The right mindset. Let's talk about 3 powerful ways to build creative intelligence in your daily life: brainstorming, reframing, and playful thinking. First up, brainstorming. You've probably heard the word a million times. But here's what most people get wrong. Brainstorming isn't about coming up with the right answer. It's about coming up with a lot of answers, especially weird, messy, ridiculous ones. Because the more ideas you generate, the more likely you are to land on something brilliant. Here's how to practice it. Start with a simple question. Something like, how else could I solve this problem? What would this look like if it was twice as big? Or half as small? What would a 5-year-old do in this situation? Then set a timer, maybe 5 minutes. And write down every idea that comes to mind. No judging, no filtering, just pure output. Even if 80% of the ideas are unusable, it's that last 20% that leads to real innovation. And over time, your brain gets used to thinking in options, not just answers. That's creative intelligence at work. Second tool, reframing problems. Sometimes creativity isn't about inventing something new, it's about seeing something familiar in a new way. That's reframing. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you ask, "What's another way to look at this?" Let's say you're overwhelmed with school or work tasks. Reframing turns, "This is too much," into, "What if I batch this into smaller parts?" Or, "What if I automate one step?" Or maybe you're stuck in a creative rut. Reframing says, "What if I work backward from the outcome I want?" Or, "What if I remove the obvious solution first?" Reframing works especially well when you ask, "What if?" questions. What if I had no budget? How would I still solve this? What if the deadline was tomorrow? What's the simplest version I could build? What if this wasn't a problem, but a puzzle? This technique forces your brain to explore paths you wouldn't normally see. And that's the root of creative thinking, not just doing more, but seeing differently. And now, the most underrated one, playful thinking. Play isn't just for kids. It's actually one of the best ways to unlock creative intelligence. Why? Because when you play, you drop your fear of being wrong. You experiment. You take risks. You follow curiosity. That's when breakthroughs happen. Now, I'm not saying you need to play tag at work. But you can bring playfulness into your learning, your projects, and even your schedule. Try turning study goals into games. How fast can I teach this concept back to myself? Can I explain this in a meme? What would this idea look like as a drawing? Or try using analogies. If this code was a conversation, what would it sound like? If this math problem were a recipe, what are the ingredients? When you play with information, you make it stick. You make it yours. And most importantly, you make it fun. Because fun is underrated, and it's a sign of creativity in motion. So how do you actually build creative intelligence daily? Here's a 5-minute routine you can try. 1. Start with a challenge. Something small, like a homework problem or a frustrating task. 2. List 5 weird solutions, even if they sound dumb. Let them be messy. 3. Reframe the challenge. Ask, what if this was easier than I thought? Or, what's one thing I haven't tried yet? 4. Add play. Use metaphor, humor, visuals, or exaggeration. Make it weird on purpose. 5. Reflect. Ask, what surprised me? What idea made me curious? What would I actually try? It doesn't need to take all day. But done regularly, this rewires your brain to look for possibilities instead of walls. And that's what makes someone creative. The truth is, we've been sold this idea that creativity is a rare spark. That it belongs to the gifted. That unless you're making something beautiful or original, you're not creative. But that's not how it works. Creativity is a way of thinking. It's about staying open, asking questions, trying things, failing, reworking, and staying curious. And every time you choose to explore a new idea, even a small one, you're building creative intelligence. Whether you're an artist or an analyst, a student or a software engineer, creativity gives you the edge. It helps you stand out, adapt, solve problems nobody else is solving. That's not magic. That's a muscle. And now you know how to train it. So don't wait for inspiration to hit. Build it, play with it, practice it. And watch how your thinking starts to shift. If this video gave you a new way to see creativity, hit that like button, tag a friend who thinks they're not the creative type, and subscribe for more videos that challenge how we learn, think, and grow. Hit the bell, too, because creativity shows up when you stay curious. See you in the next one.